Little bit of a late start today. Sorry about that. What's going on here? Having some production issues. Having several production issues. Don't entirely know what's happening. Ooh, wow, this is bad. This is a bad angle. Okay, let's get here. All right. Don't know exactly what's going on, but we're gonna see how things are turning out. Hopefully, hopefully it should be okay. Um, Today we're playing some more paranormal sites. Yeah, all right. Maybe this would be a little bit better of an adjustment here. Um, I'm having my entire boom arm just fell apart a second ago. I don't know why. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep talking and then we'll see. Yeah, I think you should be able to hear me fine. I'm gonna get going because I don't want to waste anybody's time anymore. Let me see if I can find everything, pull it up. Should be okay. Okay, maybe this might be a better setup. All right. All right. Now, is everybody reading me? Everybody seems to be reading me just fine. It looks good. How are you doing TikTok? How are you doing Kick? How are you doing Twitch? How are you doing YouTube? All right. Now, let's go. All right. Now streaming on all major platforms. Going in game, we're gonna just get moving on this because I'm losing patience with setting up stuff all day long. Probably check back again with the production, my production in a little bit. And we'll see how it's going there. Wow, you guys do not want to see me. I'm putting on my headphones sometimes. All right, let's go in game. Paranormal site. Let's go. Oh, why are you not showing up? Now you are showing up just fine. I'm going to go ahead and do one more quick check of my production, and then we'll get going. Okay. We're gonna see. Last. Okay. Adjusting knobs, and we are go. Adjusting knobs, and I think I may have been banned on one of these platforms already. I don't want to say which one because Alright, let's go. We are going to do... I don't want to see what Richter's up to, because he's always fun. Richter, what are you up to? Summary of previous events throughout the night. Richter continues to gather information about the cursed stones, while Haruo lies awake until dawn, preoccupied by the prospect of bringing her lost child back to life. Just this a little bit more. Okay. Haruo, let's bring your child back. I hope she gets the peace she deserves, even though she's a killer. Haruo Shigima, 10 a.m. You're gonna hear me. I'm gonna pause real quick. Good morning, ma'am. How are you feeling? I'm fine. I hope we can make good progress today. How's your cursed stone looking? I haven't felt anything from it since sunrise. Interesting. It's possible that its powers cannot be unleashed at night, then. That aside, why are you so late this morning? There are unfortunately some things that can't be investigated while the world slumbers. But I did get some research done in what limited time I had. Very well. Let's talk. Alright, let me hit the think button. I need to find out what the point of this chapter is. Alright, we may be surrounded by curses and death, but... it matters little. My only concern is whether I could see my child again. Alright, let's think some... okay. Let's talk. Let's see what Richter's up to. He's looking a bit tired. He must have been up all night investigating. Let's look at some stuff. This is the old mansion where I was born and raised. Why is my phone screaming at me like this? Excusez-moi. Having all sorts of issues, aren't I? Okay. Okay. Now, mansion we checked out. The surroundings let's look at. Town is beginning to wake up once more. The clamor of society can be heard from beyond the garden gates. Like any day, a cloud of pollution drifts out from the industrial area. And we have more surroundings, we have more surroundings, we have more surroundings. And let's talk to Richter. By the way, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. And what's that? Our current plan is to steal a curse stone that's already absorbed soul dregs, but I'm wondering if it would be suffice to not steal, but instead negotiate with the curse bearer and still have them use the right for our purpose. Oh? I mean, I suppose that would accomplish the same, but do you think that's possible? So long as we offer compensation, it may prove much easier than you'd expect. Compensation. Cash, for instance. That wouldn't be off the table for a family as rich as the Shigimas, would it? Of course, why, any amount would be fine if it'd get the job done. It wouldn't let monetary matters lead me to regrets the way it did back with the ransom. I won't let monetary matters lead me to regrets the way it did back with the rants. Okay, with that option on the table, let's figure out our strategy. Okay. What are you talking about? Okay, with that option on the table, let's figure out our strategy. Alright. Do you have any curse bearer? Do you have a curse bearer with whom we can negotiate in mind? Not yet. Surprisingly, it seems the other curse bearers haven't been that proactive about collecting soul dregs. What's going on, Raccoon? How are you tonight? Did you see the news this morning? No, I haven't. Overnight, 3 mysterious deaths were reported in the area. They've yet to announce the identities of the bodies found. but they have been nicknamed the Hanjo serial killings. It's garnered quite some attention on the streets. Oh my. Only 3? That's what I thought. Even the victims were curse bearers, just 1 or 2 wouldn't be enough soul dregs. They gave you 4 pizzas? That sounds awesome. And for what those curse stones are capable of, a mere 3 victims seems a little on the low side. With this little activity all throughout the night, the curse bearers must be a cautious bunch. Henshin Impact. I remember playing that for a short while. I remember thinking it was quite good, but I'm strictly a Zenless Zone Zero player right now. If I have the time. I don't really have much time for anything. I just have it downloaded on my phone and I'll play it whenever I get a chance. Alright, continuing on. What's holding them back? Are we not all after the power of resurrection? There may still be some undiscovered victims, but it doesn't seem like anyone has gathered enough soul dregs yet. We might have to set up some bait to spur them into action. Oof. Yeah, no, I understand. But after a while, all these gacha games start feeling the same. What was that last one that just came out? What, Neverness to Everness? I tried playing that for a while, but the dialogue is so slow. The voice actors aren't in the same room together, so the dialogue all seems stilted, and I can't sit through that, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're probably right. You're right. Okay, let's, and then moving back on, and then we offer them the deal. Alright, let's make a deal. None of the curse bearers seem very proactive. I wonder if the situation could be what the mastermind who kicked it all off intended. Now, that's an interesting theory. You think there's someone behind this all? You mentioned hearing an agonized voice telling you to kill when you first obtained the cursed stone. That doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. Someone agitated the curses in the area on purpose, and they were likely after the rite of resurrection as well. So you're thinking this person is not one of the curse bearers. You got a sharp mind, man. Though it might seem obvious for the mastermind to become a cursed bearer and collect soul dregs if they were after the rite, this would be very risky since as a curse bearer, they themselves would become a target. So it'd actually be more convenient for them if the curse bearers moved less aggressively. That's right, but despite that, they have been inciting the curse bearers to commit murders. Why? Let's consider this. What if the mastermind isn't trying to collect soul dregs themselves? You mean their intentions were also to steal the souls while the other curse bearers compete with each other from the start? Sitting back and observing from the sidelines is the safer course of action. Which is why I figured it best for us to attempt the same strategy. So how should we do it? There's still reason to suspect the mastermind could be a curse bearer themselves. To be honest, I want to keep my distance from whoever it is. There's no telling what kind of power they might possess. Whether our aim is to negotiate or steal, we'll have to outpace the mastermind in making contact with the other curse bearers. How do you suppose we do so? At this point, all we can do is search. Alright, let's search. If there's a mastermind inciting the curse bearers to collect soul dregs, can we be sure there is even a rite of resurrection? Good question. The rite could be nothing but a myth fabricated to spur the curse bearers into action. Seeing it might be for naught. Do you want to give up, ma'am? Never. Understood? After all, we'd never know the truth unless we see it for ourselves. But we'll do it without using the curses ourselves. Alright. By the way, I met a few people who seemed like potential curse bearers last night. I did some investigating into all of them, but I only managed to get detailed information on 2. You're quick. I suppose that has to be expected from an investigator extraordinaire. I appreciate the flattery. And he does a cunty pose. First, there is Ayame Tono, the girl we talked to before. Though she isn't a curse bearer herself, she's a student attending T, University of Art. She currently lives alone in an apartment near Midoricho Park. You even determined her address. You're not one to be underestimated, Mr. Investigator Extraordinaire. I called every single university with Ukuyo in the curriculum pretending to be her parent. I went around to check on her place on the way here. It doesn't seem like she returned home last night. I'm worried she might have run into some trouble. Didn't you attempt to follow her last night? I'm embarrassed to say it, but I couldn't. She shook me. I couldn't keep track of her. And here I thought you were an investigator extraordinaire. I'd like to learn more about her, but it would take some time. She's planning to steal the cursed stones just like us. It's best we act carefully around her. Alright, next question. Keep going. Next is a tall man who was dressed in black. I met him in Kinisho. He stood out with the way he dressed. I managed to get some good information from him. Impressive. No. Isn't the NASA base in Houston, Texas? Raccoon? He works as the secretary of Hihaku Soap's chairwoman. I believe his name is Takumi Yumioka. The Hihaku Soap's headquarters and factories are both located in Hanjo, correct? This was the second person we killed. This tall guy. Yes, they've been here for a while, but it's only in the past 10 years that the company has shown significant growth. I remember seeing the chairwoman on the news a few years back. She seems to be very shrewd. With the increase in sales, I assume she wanted her factories running at full capacity. With the increase in sales, I assume she wanted her factories running at full capacity. But with the harsh restrictions against industrial waste, a lot of the factories with older equipment had to be shut down. That's right, even 10 years ago, there were many complaints about chemical plants dumping waste into rivers. I wonder what a man working for such a company would have been up to in the middle of the night. On the way here, I stopped by the company's headquarters, but they hadn't started for the day. I should have had better luck later. Let's hope you will. Perhaps they're interested in seeing if the Reich would be beneficial for their product research into beauty and skincare. Ha, now that's an interesting thought. I ran into one more suspicious young man last night. This one seemed to be out collecting soul drags, right? Yeah, this dude. Indeed, I couldn't get a good look at him, though, and I couldn't gather enough intel to properly identify him. Well, that's a shame. But I can... You know, the researcher who discovered the ancient text of the Rite of Resurrection? The one that lives near here? His name is Hideki Arashi, and the man I met was very similar in stature. Oh my, even he is involved. How awfully suspect. Considering his background, couldn't he be the one who initiated the whole affair? I think it's possible, yes. Which is why I decided to refrain from making contact with them for the time being. Safety first. Understandable. Of course, I want to learn more, but this isn't the right time to focus on him. I prefer to ascertain who else is a curse bearer. First, I'll return to Heihaku Soaps to see that man in black. What was his name again? Person of interest. I wonder if we even identified him. He wasn't part of the main cast. Who's for this guy? Hakumi Yomioka. He's secretary chairwoman at Heihaku Soaps. We don't know anything about him yet. Their headquarters are down to the south of Aragasue streets. Alright, now. I learned something new about the criminal involved with the kidnapping. It concerns the serial killings. There was a body found at Komagata High School. The person was identified as a school teacher. His name was Kohei Janoichi. Kohei Janoichi. There. An English teacher. Do you think he was a curse bearer? Not sure. That's possible. But regardless, this means the two people who knew the truth about the kidnapping are both dead. Just when we were getting somewhere. It isn't enough to make me give up, of course. Still, we don't know anything about Michio Shirashi's residence. It'd be wise to pay it a visit. Understood. I think some of these characters are going to start interacting about the serial killings. In addition to the 3 victims associated with the Hanjo serial killings, there's Michio Shirashi, who reportedly committed suicide, and a police officer who died at the former Yasuda Gardens. If the strange deaths continue occurring like so, they're bound to inspire strange rumors. But those last 2 have nothing to do with the 7 mysteries, no? It's true, both occurred a week before this accursed situation began. Still, it cannot be ruled out. It's possible that the mastermind was involved even with those killings. Whoa. That's wild, okay. Alright. How? What if there were preliminary steps to awakening the 7 Mysteries curse? Can we really assume they're unrelated just because the timing doesn't match up? Or rather, the police officer's death is so baffling that it'd be easier if it were connected to these curses. The victim wasn't the type to be caught off guard easily. You seem to know a lot about this. I see. If you were to investigate this matter more, you might get a lead on the mastermind. You're right. If we wish to focus on the mastermind's identity, this would be a fine starting point. About the serial killings. We might even discover more deaths related to the curses on the way. We should pay attention to today's news. Well, that's all I have to report. Shall we continue with our investigation? What do you want to do? If you still can't use the cursed stone, taking a walk should be fine. Would be a fine place to start. Right, let's go together. I want to see what's going on for myself. Alright, is that everything that he has to say? Alright, I think that's it for here. Let's move. Let's go for a walk. The Hihaku Soap's headquarters are on the other side of South Waragase Street. They were closed when I visited this morning, but it appears things are up and running now. Alright, let's think. So, an influential person in Hihaku Soaps is potentially a curse bearer. Richter proposed we use money to negotiate for the cursed stones, but we could hardly outbid a large corporation if it came down to it. Hihaku Soap's office building. To think a small soap-making company would grow so much in such a short time. They have factories and warehouses throughout the area now. You can see why director and now chairwoman Natsue Yamamori is called the Queen. Files updated, let's check you out. A chemical producer that ranks 4th largest in the domestic detergent market and 7th largest in the cosmetics market. From its humble beginnings as a small soap factory established after the war in 1946, founder Natsue Yamamori utilized her feminine perspective and a well-timed economic boom to boldly lead the company into new markets. Even as the market grew crowded with the industrialization of Sumida City, the company continued to expand, digging its roots deep into the area. In particular, it established itself as a household name by focusing its branding towards the rapidly expanding convenience store market. Its flagship products now include cosmetics, detergent, soap, shampoo, and more. The company's name, Hihaku, can also refer to kasuri, a type of patterned fabric. Okay. Person of interest, Natsue Yamamori. Natsue is the former president of Hihaku Soaps, a large chemicals company. Though she retired from her position 2 years ago, she still wields great influence over the company from her position of chairwoman. Recently, there have been rumors about her possessing strange and powerful magical abilities, earning her the nickname the Witch of Hihaku. Prior to the war, Natsue enjoyed working her dream job at a textile factory. She was forced to face the bitter reality of the world. However, when the factory was destroyed by a fire during the war, she was ordered to rework the fabrics she had painstakingly crafted into something more suitable for blue-collar work. Witnessing the rise in popularity of Western-style clothing in the post-war period, Natsue left the textile industry. However, a nod to her past can be seen in her company's name, with Hihaku being another name for kasuri, a type of fabric featuring patterns and images woven into dyed fibers. Having long been dissatisfied with the soap supplied at the textile factory, Natsue saw a business opportunity and set up her own small soap factory. Taking inspiration from imported soap brands, she developed new products which quickly gained a good reputation. Even the shrewd businesswoman, Natsue, ran an aggressive promotional campaign on TV featuring a popular Japanese singer, rapidly turning Hihaku Soaps into a household name. You mentioned that Takumi works as her secretary. That's correct. Do you think it's possible he's Yes. That's my exact thinking. A cursed bear with both money and power could certainly look at resurrection as their next prize. Negotiating with a person of that stature may prove difficult. Interesting. You got upset at the weather, Raccoon? That's understandable, to be honest. He tells me he barely slept last night, and yet he seems to be brimming with energy. Was I too resilient at his age? Perhaps it's what sets apart a detective from the rest. Come on, Richter. Business is up and running. I can see people inside the reception area. Okay. Is that all I can do for now? Alright, surroundings. Back in the Edo period, the canal known as South Waragrasui ran through this area, but it's been turned into a major road. It's a bit away from Kinshicho Station or Ryogoku Station, though it's still considered a nice area. The stories of the ever-burning lantern and the foot-washing mansion both took place around here. One of the bodies discovered this morning was found by this road as well. That's quite a lively area, huh? I suppose you could call it somewhat of a city center. A Waragrasui, lit partitioning ditch, refers to a waterway dug down the middle of a road so as to divide it. At the dawn of the Edo period, the Hanju district was a little more than a collection of suburban rice farms. As the area became more developed, the South Waragrasui was excavated in order to drain the rainwater into the Yoki-Jekken River, to the east. Though it served the people long and faithfully, it was converted into an underground culvert at the beginning of the Showa era. In the present, no trace of it remains on the surface but the street that bears its name. Yeah. I'm sure they're just like any other building. I'm not entirely sure why people romanticize Japan so much. First, I need to confirm whether Takumi is the man I ran into last night. Then I'll be able to determine if he's a curse bearer. It'll be better if I go inside the headquarters alone. You should walk around, visit a cafe for some tea, perhaps? Okay. Fine. I will do so. Let's move. To the park, I guess. Get a coffee. What the heck, man? I thought you were supposed to go inside. We're here. This is Midorichi Park. Ayame Tono lives around here. She wasn't in her apartment when I dropped by this morning. I wonder if it's worth checking again. Alright, let's take a look at the surroundings. The place is connected with the story of the Taiko of Suguru. Not only that, Katsushika's Hukasi's home was also in this area. That might be why Ayame chose to live here. Dude, she's a fangirl, big time. Small park bordering South Waragrasui Street, sporting a mixture of cherry and evergreen trees. Although unremarkable in most respects, its small playground always attracts a number of children come evening. While no trace remains in the modern day, it stands on what was once the site of the Sugaru Estate. The legendary artist Katsushika Hukasai is also believed to have been born in the vicinity. Huh? What are you? Oh, good going, ma'am. You found a haiku. That's a rare one. Is it now? It's a rare one. Haiku. Where are you, haiku? In the bright garden. Look at you. Okay. It's always heartwarming to see children playing in the park. Richter seems to like kids, perhaps because they're on the same wavelength. Yeah, that's probably why. We won't get much done standing around here. Why don't I go check out Ayame's apartment? You don't mean to speak with her, do you? No, I'd prefer to get an idea of what she's been up to. I'd like to see whether she's home or not, just to potentially get a trace on her movements. Then, be my guest. Okay, I shouldn't be long. I'm back, ma'am. So, nothing. I'm afraid so. She still hasn't returned. However, I noticed a few people who seem to be related to the police force keeping watch in the area. I don't know if they got eyes on her apartment, but they do appear to be watching the building is in. Interesting. Oh, dude, is that where, Tetsuo's daughter lives? Whoa. What if it is that's what Tetsuo's daughter lives? Interesting. You got a sharp eye to have noticed them despite them being so covert. Oh god, if Io is Tetsuo's daughter, that would be interesting too. What can I say? It's part of the job. However, it meant I had to refrain from knocking on her door or looking through her windows. I wasn't able to check her electric meter or mailbox either, unfortunately. You're planning to go that far? We won't make much progress sticking around here? Okay, fine. That means it's time to leave. Let's go to Kamagata High School. Oh. Kamagata High School. Here we are at Ground Zero, Kamagata High School. I guess it's logical that police got this place shut down. The teacher's body was found here after all. It's as if the students have nowhere to go now that the school's closed. Alright, let's look around. Surroundings. The news had attracted a bunch of curious onlookers, huh? That works in our favor. The more people around, the better we can blend in. School gates. Seems the officers are still inspecting the scene. Entry has been strictly prohibited. I'm going to click on Richter here. He appears to be wary of these police officers. Maybe the police really do have something against private investigators, just like in those detective novels. This place is said to be connected with the story of the Fool's Procession. I wouldn't be surprised if a curse bearer decided to turn up. However, it needed to find out if the teacher was a curse bearer or not. I expect the police to be baffled, since they don't know about the curses. I can ask around and see what the students have to say. Let's ask. Dude, of course ask. Alright, I'll go ask the students about Michio. I'm back, man. So what did you learn? The school kids sure love a good rumor. I'm practically drowning in stories about Mr. Jonoichi and Michio, most of which seem dubious at best. Not surprising. Most of what I heard was hardly worth a second thought. But there was one story that caught my attention. Oh. Some people that Michio is the one who killed Mr. Jonoichi. The story's got two pieces of evidence to back it up. One of them wasn't news to me. Apparently he's been mumbling that Michio was going to kill him for some days now. A fellow teacher overheard his mumbling and told the students. And then it spread like wildfire, I suppose. Rumors that juicy don't stay a secret. As for the other pieces of evidence, a pigtailed girl in school uniform was seen around school last night. That must have been Yoko. Some interest. Yoko, does she have pigtails? She does have a... No, she doesn't have pigtails. Does Mio have pigtails? Just... Maya. Who does have pigtails? Michio? Michio definitely has pigtails. Michio was seen last night? Is that what they're trying to tell? Is that what you're trying to say? Go on. Although numerous people claim to have seen the girl, not one of them saw her face. Some are proposing it was Michio brought back to life, or that it was her vengeful spirit. But it's not like Michio, the only high school girl to wear pigtails. This rumor might have been just made up to fan the flames. But if it were true, I'd want to get a hold of her in order to hear her side of the kidnapping. If she's alive, that'd be ideal. There's still one more thing I should mention. I discovered where Michio lived. The student had a list of student addresses on her hand. That's an amazing find. I believe all of the students actually have a copy of said list. It truly worries me how easy it is to obtain what should be confidential information. Imagine what would happen if that information got into the wrong hands. Well, so far it hasn't, no? Sure, let's hope it stays that way. In the meantime, it's now possible for us to visit Michio Shirashi's house. Alright, let's do so. Okay, let's go to Michio Shirashi's house. How did it go? I went to visit Michio Shirashi's family home. However, no one seemed to be there. I got no answer at the door and all the lights were out. It seemed to have been empty for a while now. There was a stack of newspapers out front. I never liked these messy and cluttered back streets. They gave me the jitters every time. It's reassuring to have someone as strong and tall as Richter accompanying me. He looks so unfazed. I suppose a detective is used to this kind of thing, always investigating and chasing criminals. I wouldn't be cut out for it. It's a bit quieter over here. It is a residential area after all. All these rundown row houses really scream working class, don't they? Yeah, why is no one coming to our house? Social connections run deep in working class areas like this place, so I decided to talk to the locals. I met a few nice old ladies who were kind enough to give me the scoop. Turns out Shirashi's reputation really went down the dumps this past year. Is that so? I'll give you the quick summary. They moved here about 3 years ago. Their previous residence was in a better part of town. Michio's father died in a car accident, leaving behind just the two of them. Michio's mom, Toshiko, now a single mother, relocated here. At first, they got along with the neighbors, many of which were in similar situations, helping and being helped in turn. So far, so good. What happened? Well, as I said, their reputation began to go downhill about a year ago. A man recognized as Toshiko's common-law husband had moved into the household. His name was apparently Kankachiro Iwai. Neighborhood gossip is something else. Somehow everyone knew his name. So what of this Iwai character? He was apparently a vulgar fellow with a criminal record. He was prone to violent outbursts. The neighbors often heard screams and shouting coming from the home. The neighbors took particular notice of Toshiko's screams, pleading with him not to hit Michio. Ooh, that's terrible. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, every night the neighbors also began to hear an eerie chanting. Through this, Shirashi's standing in the neighborhood plummeted rapidly. Toshiko was often seen covered in bruises and wounds. She stopped responding to her neighbors. She would just turn the other way when greeted. They kept the storm shutters closed, even during the day, and effectively shut themselves away from the entire community. That sounds horrible. Why didn't the police step in and do something? Unfortunately, under the current laws, the police aren't allowed to get involved with domestic disputes. That's awful. And then Michio reportedly, did the thing. Things only get worse with Iwai, and Toshiko was admitted to the hospital for physical and mental abuse. Ever since, Iwai hasn't returned to the home. Ooh, what am I doing here? Many local expressed sympathy for Michio's circumstances, but just as many were fed up with Shirashi's entirely. They seemed relieved that things finally quieted down again. I guess anything for quiet. It seems they were still considered outsiders, even after 3 years of living here. I don't understand it. Why would Toshiko have gotten involved with such a brutish good-for-nothing in the first place? I've heard many stories where one partner's personality does a complete turn after entering a relationship. After her first husband's death, Toshiko's financial situation also taken a turn for the worse. She was determined to send her daughter to a good high school. It's possible she fell victim to sweet promises. Life can be tough, I suppose. You don't seem moved by the story, ma'am. That's fine. People have all kinds of stories. Oh, persons of interest. Open the updates page. Kankichiro Iwai. The common law husband of Michio Shirashi's mother, Toshiko Shirashi. Kankichiro started coming and going from the Shirashi household a little over a year ago. Seems he served some time in prison, but the details are unknown. He looks like a very severe man. Severe is the only way I would describe that guy. Severe. Okay, let's go to the updates. Nope, we saw that already. Okay, so what do we have next? Let me... 1 second, I gotta do this thing. Okay, now. Shirashis were dealt a tough hand. I can't imagine what it was like. Could it be the girl was forced by her circumstances to take part in the kidnapping? Okay. Are we, our way? Okay. But the Shirashis certainly hadn't lucked out with theirs. Bringing such a violent man into it. Is that it? Shirashis were dealt a tough hand. I can't imagine what it was like. Blah, blah, blah. Is that it for now? Oop. Is that it? Is that all of it? Is there anything else that we missed? Yeah, right. MC shouldn't think in a horror game. Is that it here too? My gosh. Did we cover everything? Let's move again. Let's go to the park. We're done talking. We're done thinking. We're done thinking. Alright, let's move. Oh, right. We had to go in first. Let's see if we discovered anything. Did you? Sorry to keep you waiting. How did it go? I'll fast forward to the conclusion. I met with Takumi. There's no doubt he's the same man I saw last night. But it doesn't seem like he's a curse bearer. But that doesn't mean he has no connections to the recent curses. He knew about the 7 mysteries. He even guessed we had a curse stone of our own. Excuse me? Oh. Ooh. I tried to approach Takumi about a fallen item after I ran into him last night. However... You said your name was Richter, correct? I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. I was hoping you would hand over the cursed stone in your possession. Cursed stone, what are you on about? There's no need to play dumb with me. In fact, there's no time for it. I had all the same reason you did to think you were a curse bearer last night. And your arrival here only confirms it. You are a curse bearer, no? You're right, we lack time. I confess, I'm a curse bearer. I possess the cursed stone of the haunting clappers. I'm glad to hear the truth. Finally, this conversation is worthwhile. This dangerous item you hold, give it to me. My company will take responsibility to dispose of it. I don't know, the soap business is specialized in scrubbing curses clean. It's the prerogative of Miss Yamamori. Is that so? Assuming you have obtained the curse, you understand the powers it involves, no? Miss Yamamori possesses supernatural powers, akin to those of a god. She has also a deep love for this land, not having transformed it from the pile of dirt it once was to the home of our headquarters. She cannot stomach the fact that it's now the site of these curses run rampant. So you're telling me the Queen of Hihaku is a real-life witch. She wouldn't appreciate being called that, mind you. There's a sorcerer by the name of Sugen Gamioto, who's gallantly working behind the scenes, exorcising spirits and the like. Go on. That being so, there have already been instances of the dead coming back to life. Do you understand the urgency of this matter? These are curses we're speaking of, tools which are used by wicked beings to possess people. The rite of resurrection is nothing but a fabrication meant to seduce the curse bearers into unspeakable action. If you truly understand what I'm talking about, you must hand over that curse stone at once. Very interesting. With that said, just how many cursed stones have you acquired so far? If what you tell me is true, surely the company would have launched a large-scale search by now. Oh, ho ho ho. Got you there. You do not have 6. You do not have 6. There's no way. 6. Whoa, I can rest at ease then. And here I thought I was at risk of being cursed. Seems we're on the same page. If that's the case, you should hand over your cursed stone immediately. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's not actually in my possession at the moment. Considering its importance, I've been keeping it in hiding. Really now? Then I'll accompany you while you retrieve it. I'm sorry, but I got something important to attend to. But I promise I'll return it later. I'll return with it later. Very well. How prudent of you, I'll oblige. And that's how it went. So they aren't after the right after all. I wouldn't be so quick to trust them. Oh? I believe we're dealing with a master in deception. He may well have made up a story to convince us to part ways with our stone. I think he was lying about having procured 6 stones as well. Like, really? 6? That's excessive. Well, now I feel gullible. The company's plotting something. I wonder what they mean to do with cursed stones. He seems rather desperate to get a hold of ours, despite not having collected any soul dregs. Perhaps the people at Hihaku are the masterminds behind the curses being unleashed. Because the chairwoman's a witch? I wonder about that too. she really were that powerful, would her secretary have divulged that information so casually? No, I think not. Takumi was either making it up as he went, or he's trying to spread a rumor. For what purpose would he do that? Recently, people have been caught up in the occult more than ever before. If word spreads that Hihaku's chairwoman has godlike powers, she could very well benefit socially and politically from that mystique. That's unsettling. We should avoid Hihaku for the time being. It'll be a pain if I have to deal with Takumi again. Okay. By the way, there's one more thing of interest I heard while in the company's reception lobby. And what's that? People were discussing whether one of the bodies found this morning was that of a Hihaku employee. Really? So long as the officials haven't revealed the identity, it all amounts to no more than speculation, though. Despite that, I have reason to believe Hihaku Soaps is deeply involved with the Seven Mysteries. At the very least, I can assure you I've gathered that much. The more we know, the better our negotiations will go. Did I cover everything here? Here we are. Let's move. Did I move this? This is Komagata High School. I guess there haven't been any developments. Surroundings. Okay, surroundings, school gates. Near the Shirashi household. What happened here? I doubt anyone's still living here. Huh? Whoa, what happened here? Oh, so you came here too? Huh? What is it? Okay. Ah. Tetsuo. Could you repeat what you know one more time for me, Richter? Dun dun dun. Good stuff. Alright. I think I am going to call it here for tonight. I have some things I should be doing. On this hot Sunday night. I will be catching you guys later.